Thank you so much for coming in. I truly appreciate it, and I am so sorry we did not get in touch with you until now. Yeah, winter is pretty hard on so many people, which is no excuse why you didn't get a call back sooner. So thank you so much for coming in and being extremely patient with us. So how are you doing? How is your sleep? Okay, I'm so sorry. Really? Okay. Oh, wow. So you had to call the Insomnia hotline? Insomniac hotline. Okay, I'm sorry. Was that helpful? Sorta. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that they could do that. That's pretty amazing. Go ahead, tell me more about the video that they sent you. Okay, did it help a little bit? It did. Okay. Sounds. So you're very much into sounds. Whispering, okay. I can see that. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share with me before we get started? Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. I am sorry that you had to call the hotline, but I'm also grateful that we have those resources available, you know? Yeah. Well, hopefully, since you've now started therapy once a week, is that correct? Great. Yes, then we can go ahead and get the ball rolling as far as your treatment plan goes, which I know you kind of sort of did that in intake, I remember. Yeah, and then just what you expect from me as your therapist, because this is your time, this is for you. So I just need to know what you need from me in our sessions, whether it be just support or some guidance, some lessons, because yep, you can absolutely learn so much in therapy. I can get printouts, I can go research and bring stuff to you that I find. Absolutely. I will not do that in our sessions, no. So if you have an idea of something you want to work on, like next week, let's say, I'll look up some stuff and I'll bring it in for the following week. Yeah. Oh, you know, I try. I also brought some sensory stuff for you to try because I wasn't sure. But now that I know that you have done some sounds, would you be okay with trying other senses as well? Because one of the things we want to do is ground ourselves. And if you're starting to feel anxious or triggered and a little out of sorts, I would love to give you items so that you can ground yourself. Yeah, like a candle or a lotion or something to hold, something to look at, something to play with, just as a distraction. Yeah, to bring you back to earth, if you will. Yeah, it's used in trauma therapy. It's used in this kind of therapy, just any kind of therapy, really. Yeah, are you willing to give that a shot? Okay, so first I do want to try out the candle. This one does smell very good. It's called Midnight Air. So go ahead and give that a smell and let me know if that's something you would like to use in our sessions, because what I'll do is I'll make a little spot for you in the room that's just your things to go to or ask me for if you're starting to feel like you're slipping away. Yeah, not a problem. Yes, I will set that over here for you. And then next, I have a few things for you to feel. So this is the first one. It's a little like a squishy football. Yeah, it's basically just foam. So go ahead, give that a feel. And then when you're done with that one, I have this. There's sand in it and it like stretches. So this can be used for a lot of the senses. So you can look at it. You can make like different shapes, different faces with it. You can hear it. Can you hear that? Yeah, so you can hear it. Yep, exactly, and it has a good feel to it. See, yeah. And then to get it back, I know, you just kind of roll it. And then he's back. It's a little carrot. Isn't that the cutest little thing? So go ahead and give this a shot as well. So, not a huge fan of the football? Not a problem. You know what you think about that carrot, and then we'll get into some like other sounds and some other things that might help. Okay, awesome. I will put that over here for you. Now this next one, actually there's two. So you have this that you can play with. Again, you can use it for sound, and you can make things with it, and it's something to kind of focus on and keep your hands busy, you know. If you're just sitting there and we're talking or you're getting a little overwhelmed, you can do this the entire session as long as you are able to multitask. I do not mind at all. So here's that, and then this other one. It's similar, but it's a string, and there's actually a book. Now, this would be more used when you need to actually take a step back and take a break. You can look at the book, and you can pick a design that you have to make with these. It's pretty neat, yeah. So if you look, yes, it is possible to do all of them. I've personally done many of these. So this would be a great option when you just need to take a moment, where this is something that you could do throughout the session. So one or the other or both, it's totally up to you. You can never have too many things in therapy. Both of them, perfect. Yeah, I was gonna suggest just taking these two because so helpful, and you never know. Like right now you might be like, oh, I don't need it right now, but later you might be like, oh, I need that. Alright, this next one is just like to observe. I don't know if you're into Pokemon, but everyone knows who this is. It's Pikachu. And this is something that you can just hold. So I highly recommend this one as well if you want to go ahead and, yeah. I know, it's really neat. I love that thing, and it's really cool. You can put it on a light, and then Pikachu like glows, and then it like shoots off all these different things on the ceiling. Oh, it is really cool. Perfect. That one I will put over here along with your other stuff, and then I will put that stuff away. And then lastly, I'm glad that you mentioned the sensory of sounds. I'm not sure exactly what the video entailed that you watched, but this is something I personally use a lot of. Even in therapy, I use these two things myself, yes. Oh yeah, a therapist can have a therapist. So this is for sound. Again, if it's not too distracting, you can use it in session. Just take your time with it and let me know how you feel about it. I want you very comfortable with all of our sensory objects. Yeah. Perfect. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and take care of just a couple things if you don't mind. Thank you. And get the next thing prepared for us. You want to see the carrot again? Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Well, I'm glad both of them helped. That's such a fun idea. That's a very cool sound. I like that. Okay, let me go ahead and take these. Those are all put in a spot for you. The next thing we need to tackle is, I kind of mentioned it earlier, I need to know what you need from me as your therapist, because I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but just go into more detail for me. I'm going to go ahead and take notes, and I will probably always take notes in our sessions so that I can keep track of what we've talked about, what we've worked on, so the next session we can progress and not stay in the same place, if that makes sense. Perfect. And I do want you to know if there's any time that you want to come in and just vent and get things off your chest, that is perfectly okay. And if it's something that we've already discussed, that is absolutely okay too. I'm not saying that it can't be a little repetitive. I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the best service that I can. Awesome. Thank you for understanding. Okay, so as your therapist, I will do the following. So you're looking for guidance, ideas, lessons, and support. You got it. And I will also let you know that while I can give you some guidance and some ideas, I can never tell you what to do. And I can't really give you like advice. I can, like I said, I can share some ideas and share some of my knowledge and gain knowledge, but I can never tell you what to do. So everything you learn in therapy, that is up to you to take home and utilize. Awesome. As you were, sorry. Yeah, oh, I definitely understand. Sleep is the #1 priority here. Okay. Alright, and now I'm going to ask you, first, did you have any more you'd like to add to that? No, that's good. Awesome. Have you heard of DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy? Just a little bit. So dialectical behavioral therapy is usually used for people that have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, as well as other mental illnesses. However, it has been shown that just anybody using DBT, it can have so many benefits. I personally use DBT. I have been through DBT several times, and it is literally my Bible. And there are so many skills that you can learn on how to manage so many different things in your life. And you can learn how to be in the moment, be mindful, how to regulate your emotions correctly, how to communicate with other people without fighting. Oh, it's incredible. So if you wouldn't mind, I would like to use some DBT skills in session so that we can learn ways on how to ground, how to get you prepared to go to sleep. So for example, there are reasons why you can't sleep, right? Like, it's not that you're just awake for no reason. So what we want to do is use some skills to get you tired and get you prepared to go to sleep so that we can alleviate, I wouldn't say eliminate, because that's asking for a lot. Just alleviate, minimize some of the anxiety that goes along with trying to sleep at night. Would you be okay with that? Would you be comfortable with that? Amazing. So I'm going to put in here, as acknowledged, we will be going over some DBT. I will also add that I am not licensed to teach DBT, but I can absolutely share some of the skills that I have personally used and learned and continue to learn and use every single day. So there are core, yes, So there are different like modules that you would learn in the DBT class. Yeah, it's a long class. I can see if I can sign you up for it, absolutely. You might have to start like in the next few months, because once you like start it, it goes for a year. And then there's DBT aftercare, which is 6 months, and then there's DBT aftercare support group. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is a lot. It is a commitment, but it is so beneficial. Yeah, I can tell you what the different modules are here in just a second. All right, just so that you have an idea, and we can talk about what we will be using in our sessions. So, there are 4 modules, and number 1, it kind of focuses on mindfulness skills, like being present, being in the moment, doing like one thing at a time in the moment. So let's say you eat and watch TV. It would be like you're just eating and you're being mindful with eating. It's kind of a lame example, sorry, but that's the first thing that came to mind. Then there's something called the wise mind, which we will go through in one of our sessions when we get there. It's when you use both your emotional mind and your reasonable mind together. Because if we only use our emotional mind, then we think very emotionally and we base our decisions off of that. And then if we use just reason, then we kind of just throw out our emotions with it. And so without using both of them, we can end up making some not so rational decisions. Yes, which is something I think everybody in the world should be using. And then one of the other modules is interpersonal effectiveness skills. So that's basically where you learn how to communicate. And a couple examples would be when you're expressing to somebody like how you feel, or telling somebody like how they made you feel, you'd be using like I statements instead of you statements. For example, like, I feel really sad when you don't text me back in a reasonable amount of time. Does that make sense? Yeah. So like, for example, for you, right now, you could say, I am feeling very overwhelmed and very anxious and very nervous about going to bed tonight. The third module would be emotional regulation, and this is where you learn how to regulate your emotions, and you manage crippling anxiety and explosive anger and mood swings, etc. I think emotional regulation, the skills that you can gain from just this module alone, we will probably look at just for the anxiety parts of it, because all of it can tackle each and every one of these things, but we want to focus on the anxiety part, as well as like stress, how to manage and cope and deal with stress. Yes. And then the last module, number 4, is distress tolerance skills, which is another one that we will absolutely go through. This one, it talks about unhealthy ways of dealing with stress and discomfort, such as like isolating, avoidance, self-destructive actions, and you're impulsive, you aren't afraid to like do dangerous things. It's like risky behavior. So we'll go through that again. That's to help us deal with some of the reality of being able to fall asleep at night, where you could be like laying down and all of these thoughts are like going to your head and you're like, whoa. So some of this will help with that. And we will also use some CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, and that's, in your brain. So DBT is more like a behavioral thing, where you're like teaching yourself new habits and new ways of tricky behaviors that you're trying to reteach yourself, where CBT is like a different way of thinking. So you're kind of retraining your brain on how to think which then will lead you to train your body or train yourself on how to behave. So we will be using both CBT and DBT in our lessons if you're okay with that. Amazing. Okay, so yay, I'm so glad that you are on board with that because it is so beneficial. So for the remainder of our session today, I would like to focus on a skill that is within distress tolerance, and I want you to try this every single night this week before you go to bed. So with this skill that we are going to work on today, like earlier where we like tested your senses, we're gonna go into that a bit. So every night before you go to bed, I want you to do something that relaxes you, and I want you to use your 5 senses. I want you to find a smell that you find soothing. I want you to find something to feel that you find soothing, whether it be like a soft blanket or something to play with, like one of the things that, you know, I have for you. You can take any of these home if you would like, if you think it would help. And then if you think maybe taking a warm bath before bed might help, you can do the 5 senses in there. You could smell your soap. You could feel the shampoo or body wash on you. There's so many things that you can do to prepare yourself. And then once you get into bed, I want you to do the 5 senses again. If you have to have something next to you, I wouldn't recommend a candle because that could start a fire. But if you have like a spray that you could spray your bed with, spray your pillow with, that might help. If you have something you can hold on to, if you have it obviously for seeing, I would highly recommend like closing your eyes and just like letting your imagination, you know, go for a ride and describe everything that you see. Yeah, because you're not really going to see anything when you go to bed, right? It's just an idea that might help. And what I want you to do is keep a journal. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to make a note of this, okay? Is keeping a journal and tracking your progress with this skill. Okay, and then when we get back together in a week, I want you to tell me how it went, what went really well for you, what didn't, so that I know where to focus on, what really helps, and where we can kind of go, okay, that's not really their thing, we can focus on other things. Does that make sense? Yay! Okay, amazing. I'm so sorry today was kind of just like a lot to take in, to get an idea of what we're gonna work towards. Thank you so much again for being patient with me. I really appreciate it. You have no idea. I am so glad that you are here, and I cannot wait to get started on this journey with you. You bet. Okay, you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.